Hey guys, what's up? Jessica here. Today I'm going to be doing a portrait edit. I'm going to be talking about random things. It's going to be pretty laid back. So yeah, I'm just going to be editing and talking. That's pretty much it. So you can listen to this or you can watch me edit and just mute me if you want. So yeah, let's get started with this edit. Before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor for today's video, Squarespace. So funny story, I just spent 5 minutes editing this in RAW, and then I just wanted to see it before and after, and I guess it defaulted all of the settings. And here we are again. Trying to do this again. Did I even press anything other than I just want to see before and after? And then Photoshop's like, actually, girl, you gotta start over. That's not it. Okay, so I'm in the camera raw window. I'm gonna just make little adjustments. I swear to God, this before and after window is the worst thing I've ever experienced in Photoshop. It doesn't just show you a before and after like on top of the image. It has to show you side by side. It has to show you up and down, left, I don't even know. Different shapes. They start showing you random pictures like, oh, here's a tree. So we're back in camera raw doing this edit again. So I'm just gonna be bumping up the temperature, making it a little bit warmer. I'm gonna decrease the contrast too because I don't want it too contrasted. And I always press to see, like it's such an instinct where I just press the backward slash key, and because in Photoshop that's how you can see before and afters, but now I'm just like, don't press it, Jessica, the whole application will break. Let's see what happens. Oh, it works. Okay, cool. We figured it out, guys. So I have the photo in camera raw. I'm gonna start by just adjusting the temperature, making it a little bit warmer, decreasing the contrast. I like to decrease the contrast just because I don't like the base to be too like bold, because then it makes it harder for me to add things on because it's already so much. Shadows, we are increasing that as well. I want to see a little bit more detail. I'm just trying to soften up the photo to have a really good base so I can bring it into Photoshop later on. Clarity, just gonna add a little bit. I do like clarity. There are some things that I won't add in RAW. For instance, a lot of the essential color grading I won't really do because I leave that for Photoshop because I can adjust it to my liking. I can take it out if I want. We're just gonna keep this edit in RAW very simple. For instance, I'm gonna select optics and then check use profile corrections just to get rid of that distortion and vignetting around the edges. You guys see that right there? I think that's pretty much it. That's all I would really do, just small adjustments. So now we are in Photoshop. Oh, my window is a mess, you guys. There are some people who are so organized and have everything. I'm like, that's not me. And then I have my frequency separation action. I'm gonna play that. This saves me so much time. We're just gonna put away the actions. It's like cleaning up your room, we're done. We did it. Okay, and now I'm gonna use my retouching tablet here. And this is the Wacom Intuos, what is it? This is the CTL 4100. Oh my God, the typeface is so tiny. You gotta have like a microscope to be able to read this text. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm using the healing brush tool. We're on the low frequency layer. I made a copy of it because sometimes I mess up. And if you mess up on the main layer, then that's it. You have to like redo everything. So I just always make a copy just in case. And I love retouching. Oh my God, you guys, it's like a snowstorm outside. Yeah, I'm not leaving my house. Well, I haven't been leaving my house. Unless I want to go get groceries. And it's been cold here too. It's basically, it is the winter time. I don't really like being cold. Living in the Midwest, you just get used to the snow. So it is what it is. Negative 10 degrees. And just another day. So I've been learning Japanese. And I was like, you know what? I traveled to Japan quite a few times. I have friends there. I like to visit, and I feel like I should learn, the basics of the language because I do want to be able to communicate. So I've taken up learning Japanese, and I knew Here's the thing, I knew it would be difficult because it's one of the hardest languages in the world to learn. I looked this up, I Googled it. My thought process was, okay, yes, it's hard, but people, like my friends have learned it. So I kind of felt empowered. I was like, you know what, I can also do this. If I put in the time and the energy into doing it, you know, you can learn another language. It's entirely possible. So I bought myself Rosetta Stone. And you know, the first like 5 days, I would say I was really excited because I started being able to read the characters, the hiragana, and I'm sorry if I say that wrong. So I was starting to read like basic Japanese words like boy, girl, all that stuff. And I was like, wow, I'm fluent, wow. So I was really proud of myself. With hiragana, I checked all the symbols, and it was quite a few symbols to learn the sounds of, but I was like, you know what? No, I got this. I can learn these symbols. It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna be easy, but it is possible. And then I was talking to my friend who speaks fluent Japanese, and he's like, "Oh, have you learned katakana yet?" And I'm like, "Say that again? What?" And he's like, "Oh, it's used for foreign words mostly and other things. Like it's obviously he went into specifics." And I'm like, oh, well, I was under the impression that you didn't need to know both. Like you can learn just one. I don't know why I thought that. So then I was like, okay, I can learn another. That's fine. So I looked up the amount of symbols, and it was just as much as hiragana. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's fine. I can learn like 50 more symbols, like 100 symbols. It's fine. Like I could do it, right? So that at first I was like, you know, little roadblock there, but it's another language, and it is like if I put in the time, I'm gonna be able to do it, right? And it looked very intimidating, but I really wanted to learn it. So I was like, okay, I don't remember how many are in each, but it's quite a few. After that, I was like, okay, I got this. I can learn both. I got this. So I was talking to my friend Eva. She knows fluent Japanese. She lives in Japan. And she's like, oh, have you learned any kanji yet? And I'm like, who? Where is that? Is that a place? She basically told me there are more symbols that represent words that are used in Japanese writing. And I'm like, okay, all right, it's okay. Let me, I got a list though. I got the other 2 sets that I'm like, okay, let's Google this. Let's Google it. You know, it's not gonna be that bad. I'm like, okay, well, how many do you know? How many are there? She's like, oh, I know about 2,000. At that point, I think I felt so discouraged because I really felt like I was making good progress. You know, I'm learning. But then I reminded myself, you know, I just want, like, I can know the basics and eventually get to a point where I am learning all these symbols. And it is important for me to know the basics of the language if I'm traveling there often. So right now, I know I know the sun. I know that one. But otherwise, I'm going to start slow and not overwhelm myself. And, you know, it is a new character set. It's expected. It's not going to be easy to learn. And she told me that there's Japanese people who still don't know all the kanji. So, you know, I just have to be realistic about learning it and just keep trying my best and just keep trying and not to give up. Back to our retouch for a moment. I'm almost done cleaning this image up. It's looking fabulous. Just a couple of little areas here, like there's a bit of patchiness there I want to kind of clean up. And I like to keep my brush size pretty small and just make little tiny strokes. I don't like to do the full like up and down kind of motion. It's just very small strokes. And you get something that kind of looks like this. And you know, I thought about, hey, when I was starting photography, I didn't know anything about photography. And it was extremely intimidating to me, but I kept trying and I kept learning, and look where I'm at now. Now I know more about lighting and retouching, and that took years. So I kind of thought it's gonna be the same with Japanese. Just to stay motivated is super hard because there's no one who's gonna be like, no, you have to learn this. No one's gonna care but you at the end of the day. So if it's something that you care about, you'll definitely make time for it, I think. I'm just gonna be cleaning up this area over here just a bit, just to smooth it out. I don't like editing necks and anything other than the face. I'm just like, I don't want to do it, but you have to as an image editor. I will say it's not my strong suit. I never know if I'm overdoing the retouch. Do you guys ever get like that? Yeah. You retouch and you're like, this looks kind of ugly, but you just keep going and you just hope that it's not, you zoom out and it's beautiful, right? When it comes to like areas that you're retouching. So we've cleaned up the image and I'm gonna turn the high frequency layer back on so we can see the skin texture. It's looking beautiful. Do I want to go ahead and make refinements on the high frequency layer? I don't think I really need to make, like, the only thing I could say I want to do is lower the low frequency, just because I want it to blend in a little bit more. I don't want it to be too smooth. So I always decrease the opacity. Well, I don't always do it, but sometimes I do. So that's looking beautiful. I'm gonna save this just because I don't want Photoshop closing on me or crashing and I have to, not that I mind doing this again, but we're trying to keep it moving. So let's just save this. Who's had that happen where they finished a retouch and then Photoshop just crashes? It's like, you about to do this all over again. Surprise. So let's add some colors now. We're gonna go to new adjustment layer, curves. So what else have I been doing? I literally haven't been doing anything else. I have photo shoots to kind of work on. I have so many videos, like behind the scenes videos. And the thing is, I edit mostly all of my videos and those take so long to edit. I don't find myself to be a good video editor at all. Like, I'm not bad, but I don't really enjoy editing those videos because it's just so complicated. You gotta add the pictures, you gotta make it look nice, put the music in. I struggle with a lot of that, making it flow nicely. So there's like behind the scenes photo shoots from, God, like 3 or 4 months ago that I still haven't even worked on, but I do want to upload. It just takes a while and I try my best to get to them, but sometimes I just feel discouraged that the video is not good enough, so I just don't post it. I'm gonna try my best to work more on those though. Okay, so we've added in the curves layer. Let me see if I want to bring that. See, when I bring this in, it kind of gets rid of that detail. So let's see, like I don't want it to, well, actually I don't mind that. Looks kind of nice. You guys, no lie, there's snow like pouring down right now in front of me. Not even gonna look. I'm just gonna close my curtains after this. Okay, so that looks nice right there. And then, let's do gradient map maybe. And I just like to choose, I have a few gradients that I really like to add, like this one right here. And then I just kind of go through some of my favorite layer settings. After you use Photoshop for a while, you'll know the layer settings that you prefer, and you tend to use more of those. Like, I love using things like exclusion, difference at a very low opacity. For instance, like had I just left it at 100% opacity, you guys are probably screaming right now, but lowering this, it gets you something very nice. So it's all about low numbers there. Maybe I love luminosity. That's one of my favorite layers. You know, I kind of like subtract too. That's kind of cool. Or difference. That's kind of cool. But I would have to decrease that amount a lot so it doesn't. Yeah, like something like this. Very nice. Adds a little bit of color. Love this so far. Hey guys, just want to take a moment to talk about the sponsor for today's video, Squarespace. From websites to online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace has an amazing all-in-one platform to help you build your presence online and run your business. So it's super important as you're working with these new models, new clients, that you have a place for these images to live, and you want something that will make you look really good and really professional as a photographer. You need a home for all these pictures. And the thing that I use that I really love is Squarespace. They have an amazing, super easy to use platform. It's not intimidating at all. They have stuff like image galleries, so many different choices of different ways to display your images. Do you want a carousel? Do you want to show before and afters? Do you want to have different pages with different types of looks? Squarespace gives you all those options. They also have things like an online store. You can sell presets, you can sell merch on there, and it's really easy to do. It's really not as intimidating as one would think. Someone like me, I don't have time to code. I don't have time to do any of that. They have drag and drop features, very simple, easy to use. And the thing that I love most is that, again, there's just a lot of different options for us, especially as photographers. If I want to switch out a template the next day, I want to change it up to cater to a different client, I can absolutely do that. They offer so many beautiful designer templates. You can switch them out in seconds, and you can preview them before you even do anything. So you can head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Jessica. Use my offer code Jessica for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So definitely check it out. All that is going to be in the description. And then what else am I going to do? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm just editing this as if I were editing like I normally would. All right, what to do next? Let's go to layer and then exposure. Just add a little bit of exposure. So my cousins from Australia and Lebanon and I we've been playing Among Us. Yesterday we played like 10 rounds. I never got imposter one time. Not even once. And I got killed first like 4 times. So yeah, it's like my cousin kept killing me first. I don't know why he did that. And then they thought it was me. Like, they always think it's me, even though it's not. Like, why? First of all, why would I call an emergency meeting if I'm the imposter? I would be killing people. I wouldn't be having an emergency meeting. So yeah, they voted me out quite a few times. Okay, so I'm thinking, why did I stay like 20 minutes in exposure? There's like 3 options. I'm being dramatic here. Okay, this is good. Very simple. I do want to add a bit more color to this. I might go back to gradient map. I might just do it, guys. We might end up here for a minute, if you don't. Let's see. It's so much fun to kind of experiment with each layer, with each color. And there's endless possibilities. I could be here all year even though the year ends in like a couple days. So I could really be here all year. That's a lame joke. That's a very lame joke. You know, when people are like, oh, see you next year. It's like December 30. It's like, okay, you need to relax there. I've heard it like 20 times. I'm over here making that same joke. Maybe this is kind of cute. So it takes away those pink tones in the photo. If I zoom in here, you can kind of tell. That's kind of nice. I'll probably like decrease the opacity a bit. You know what I want to do though? I want to brighten up her eyes. I see a lot of people doing this, so I want to do it too. So we're gonna go to layer, new adjustment layer, and then curves. And then what we're gonna do is bump this up quite a lot. Add a little bit of contrast here. It's gonna look a little crazy, but what you want to do is go back to the mask, select the mask on the curves layer, and then you want to press Command I. That's going to invert the mask so you can see it just turned into a black box. And then you want to take a brush. I just take any default round brush, and then make sure your foreground color is white. Your opacity, let's do like 60%. And then just kind of go over the eye area. So everything that you just brightened up in the picture is only going to apply to the eyes or wherever you select. It took me a minute to understand the masks in Photoshop. It was super confusing when I first learned about it, because I watched a tutorial and they were using masks, and I'm like, this is like, am I learning another language? Like, I can't do, there's only so much I can learn. So let's see how that did. There we go. It's very subtle. So I just went ahead and kind of brought out these areas, dodged them a bit, the highlights especially. And then what you can do is you can also darken up certain areas to enhance shadow. So it's kind of like contouring if you're doing makeup. So you want to do curves, and then we have another curves layer. What we're going to do is just dip it down. We're making a bowl here. We're putting cereal in right there. So we're going to put it to right here. And then what you want to do is, again, just invert the mask on the curves layer. So you want to make sure this box is selected. Press Command I. After inverting it, you're going to take, again, a white brush and then just go over any areas you want to make darker. So that curves layer is going to affect only the areas that you brush over. So as you can see, I went over her bronzer blush area here, and you can see it already darkened it up, like if I turn this on and off. So again, I'm just going over any dark areas in the photo. And you can go over things like makeup, like if there's a dark part of your makeup that you want to enhance, like see this eyeliner here, if I wanted to make this even darker, I can go over it, see how that's darkening it up a little. This as well. You can also darken up just the edge of her eye right here, like the border right there. And then right here, that's gonna bring it out even more. So let's zoom out here and let's see what we did, what I did. So there we go. If you think you did too much, you have two options. You can delete it or you can just decrease the opacity. So I do want to add a tiny bit more color. We're gonna go to selective color. Let's see here what we can do. It's always tricky. You know, color grading is not easy by any means. I've been doing this for so long. Even me, sometimes I struggle with coloring certain photos. For some reason, like the last few months, I've just been really doubting my color grading, and just, it's been tough. Like I haven't really been happy with the way my images have been coming out in terms of like the coloring. So I just took a break, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna try to force myself into like editing this just to have it up. I really want to make sure it's good. So I just took a break and I came back to them, and I find that that really helps me when I'm stuck in a creative block to just come back to the image like a week or a week and a half later and then view it all over again and try again. I kind of like the blue tone under, which is funny because I made the temperature warm in the beginning, and then now I'm adding all this blue. But it's pretty, it's so gorgeous. Let's just add a bit more color, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day here. Like it gets dark at like 4 o'clock now. It's just depressing. So yeah. Oh, this is pretty too. I kind of want to, oh, this is super pretty. I like this. Just very subtle color is what I like to do now. And I am going to add one last curves layer. I'm going to set it to luminosity. Wow, I love this. Okay, that is super pretty. I think we're in a good place with the color grading. So let me show you guys the full before and after. This is the image right after camera raw. And then this is after retouching. And then this is with the colors. I think it looks awesome. Super happy with it. I'm gonna save it. Let me save it real quick before, I don't know, is it just me who gets paranoid? I'm like, we gotta save this. I've had edits where I didn't save it and I had to retouch the entire thing again, and I'm like, gotta give me patience. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching me edit. Let me know if you want to see another one of these. Sometimes I'm not sure if I should do more of a certain video. I would love your feedback, and if you guys want to see more of this, I got so many more portraits and I got so many more stories. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.